Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, I figured I'd go live later on tonight, discuss some of the recapping Jets news. We got some breaking Jets news with Denzel Mims getting traded, so we're going to go into all of my thoughts and feelings about all the things that went on today, so you guys can let me know. We'll do some discussion between each one of these topics. So I am very, very excited to start talking some football. There was so much stuff that happened today. It's hard to believe that it all happened in the same day. So without further ado, let's jump into my first story today, and that is Aaron Rodgers finally seen in a Jet uniform. Oh man, they released the picture, and I'm like 6 to midnight real quick. This was so cool to finally see. I've been seeing photoshopped images of Rodgers for the last 3-4 months now. So finally actually seeing him in our uniform, amazing, absolutely incredible. Very much looking forward to seeing Aaron Rodgers actually throwing the ball around. When we start seeing these little clips in the next few days here, especially Saturday, when we're at training camp finally, the fans, first day seeing him in action, it's going to be a lot of fun. So Rodgers, first and foremost, in Jets uniform, really, really looking good. The next story I want to talk about is one intimidating mother trucker. This guy is a walking Chuck Norris joke. He is none other than Michael Clemens. Is he too hardcore for HBO's Hard Knocks? If you didn't see it, which I'm sure you guys did, I know all you guys saw this, he was walking around with Lucille from Walking Dead. If you don't know what that is, it's the bat with the barbed wire wrapped around it. This guy is absolutely an intimidating SOB. Intimidating. This is right out of an action movie. This guy's coming in to thump heads. I don't think there's a player that I'm more excited to see on Hard Knocks than Michael Clemens. His ability to just wow people with his sheer friggin' strength, his monstrous look, his intimidating responses, his stoic presence that he has when he gives those responses. He stops and processes. He's running I don't even know. You could see the hamster wheel spinning on the head, inside the head, and he's just no. But one word answered. That's what this guy does all the time. I'm so excited. The rest of the league needs more Michael Clemens, and for him to be on Hard Knocks and showing up in this fashion, he's going to jettison himself just into those little bit of I don't know. He's going to endear himself to fans around the league. People are going to know who Michael Clemens is now because of this entrance and because of Hard Knocks. And Jet fans, we've been praising this guy since last year. I mean, monster on the defensive line. You're talking not staying on the outside, probably kicking inside with all the weight that he gained, and he's just going to throw dudes around next to Quinnen Williams, and I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. I want more Michael Clemens right now. Now, just before I went live, I want to talk about a story that just broke. This is Denzel Mims gets traded to the Detroit Lions. Wild. Back in 2020, when we were looking at all our draft picks, who we could be making, Denzel Mims slides down the draft board. Myself, O'Leary, Greenbean, loving the selection. Absolutely loved the Denzel Mims pick at the time. And I feel bad because over the course of the next few years, dude got food poisoning at our own facility. Thought he was probably going to be the number one receiver. Then we bring in Corey Davis, Keelan Cole, draft Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, all these different players. So Mims just kind of gets kicked to the back. Had to learn every single position. Wasn't really able to do it. Never seemed like this was really a fit from the beginning here with Denzel Mims. Earlier in the day, we'll kind of go through how this sort of happened. Earlier in the day, we heard the Jets were going to release him. Obviously, weren't going to have him up in camp, and they were trying to keep him healthy for whatever trade was possibly coming. The Jets were planning to release him if a trade could not be worked out. So you're at this point, you're kind of thinking all right, well, whatever we can get for him is good and gravy. Connor Hughes winds up breaking the news just 20 minutes ago. Denzel Mims traded to the Detroit Lions. It's a conditional 6th rounder for the Jets. I'm not sure if that's a 7th rounder in 2025 or it's a 7th rounder that could be a 6th rounder in 2025. So really not a great return for your former 2nd round pick, but the Jets were not going to hold on to him. Denzel Mims is one of those players that his measurables are absolutely awesome, but he just never did anything on the field to justify keeping his roster spot for this year. And that's just because, look, you got Garrett Wilson, Offensive Rookie of the Year. You bring in Alan Lazard. You already have, you bring in Mecole Hardman. You have Corey Davis under contract, and you bring in Randall Cobb. That's 5. At best, Denzel Mims was going to be wide receiver 6, and usually wide receiver 6 is held for more of a special teams type wide receiver that could be a gunner, maybe a returner, something along those lines. So Denzel Mims not having a spot on this roster is what kind of freed up these trade talks. And to see the Jets just getting any kind of pick for him when they were planning on releasing him is more than you can really ask for. It's not like he was really going to net you a comp pick at any point anyway. Very disappointing career in New York for Denzel Mims, and I wish him nothing but the best. But man, that's really, I'm sour grapes on this. Green Bean, I heard people sending him messages all friggin' day. They're putting a wellness check out for Green Bean, making sure he's still alive with all the Denzel Mims love that he was all hyped up on over the course of the last 2-3 years. So Green Bean, I'm sorry. Mimsy, he's out the door as is. Well, not as is. But we got a 6th or 7th round pick. And you love your late round picks, so that's kind of cool, right? You got a 4-year controllable contract. Who knows? Maybe you get like Tom Brady with that pick, right? Who knows? Picks are important, even if they're late, especially for players that you're going to wind up cutting anyway. So not good pick in the end. Wish him nothing but the best. Lions fans, you should be pretty excited because you got a high-octane kind of player that might be able to replace apples to apples, replace Jameson Williams, but you got your wide receiver missing the first 6 games of the season with the suspension. Having Denzel Mims there gives you a high upside guy, used to run a 4.3 40, 6'3", like the guy's a physical specimen. Can he play up to the level that Jet fans were kind of hoping to see him play at? Maybe a new change of scenery is just what the doctor ordered for Mr. Denzel Mims. The next story I want to talk about, and I see you guys chirping about it in the chat. The next story I want to talk about is the throwback jerseys. That's right, the New York Jets. Did we have leaked throwback jerseys today? A lot of people on the Twitterverse, very, very excited about some leaked footage from a Jets intern who did a solid for the Jet fans, but hopefully the dude didn't lose his internship. Let me pull up that video real quick. There was a quick leak that was right in the back. It's CJ Uzoma. Tucked away back there, you can see some of the stripes on the shoulder. You can't quite tell what the helmet's going to look like, but a lot of fans are looking at this and they're saying this is clearly the 80s Jet uniform with those stripes. I don't know if the helmet is legitimately the helmet from that era. I hope it is. I really like the swoosh logo. Clearly, I have it in my logo for the channel, but I hope that's what we get because the Jets already have an alternate helmet. And from my understanding is you can only have 2 helmets. You can have the standard one, the Jet green one with that logo on it. And then you can have the Jets have that black one that they introduced last year. So maybe they don't use the black helmet, but I thought they had certain ones that they designated for this year. Now I'm losing my train of thought or I'm mixing it up with last year. I hope we get to see this iteration of the helmet. I would actually love to see this helmet, but with like the new sparkly green with the white, like maybe a little white sparkly side with the swoosh and everything. Oh, I'm all about the old throwback uniforms. I think there's I don't know if it's a classicness or just like a nostalgia, whatever it is. I just think they look so crisp and I love that logo. So I'm super excited on this. You guys can let me know how you're feeling about this down below in the comment section. But yeah, throwback uniforms possibly leaked. I mean, think about how big of a reveal this was possibly going to be for the New York Jets. You're starting to see all these different throwback jerseys. You saw the Seahawks. They look friggin' awesome. The Browns redesigned their logo. I think the Colts have an old throwback they're bringing back. A bunch of teams are doing throwbacks this year. So it makes sense that the Jets were going to do it at some point, but they hadn't announced it. So all the media presence or like marketing power that they were trying to put into this and some fucking interns just like click, snaps a picture behind the scenes. Oh, that sucks. But very, very cool. I'm excited to see it. I don't care when it happens. I just want to see it happen. and I'm giddy about it. I can absolutely, lap this up. I was looking at the picture like all friggin' day today. Next topic I want to talk about. This coming about the offensive line. We got Mekhi Becton expected to compete at left tackle. This coming from one Rich Samini. He chimes in, says, Becton, who sat out team drills in the offseason as he recovered from knee injury, is ready to practice. He's in excellent shape, about 340 pounds, down 50 pounds, poised to compete at left tackle. I'd be surprised if we see him at right tackle. That has me all sorts of excited. And I'll be honest, when Mekhi Becton this offseason, we were seeing the workout videos and everything like that, and you're seeing like he slimmed down. He looks really good. Mentally, he looks like he's more of a better headspace at this point. Like, yeah, the Jets declined his 5th-year option back in May, but having him come into camp with his back against the wall, he's going to compete against Dwayne Brown. Most fans were thinking, Becton's right tackle, Brown left tackle. But really think about it. Mekhi Becton never lost his job to Dwayne Brown. Mekhi Becton lost his job to George Fant. The last time Mekhi Becton played, he was a left tackle, starting left tackle for the New York Jets. So Dwayne Brown comes in after Mekhi Becton gets hurt, after things are banged up, and then you start figuring it all out. And now you got Dwayne Brown, who's like 38 years old? Mekhi Becton, can you show us enough juice from your rookie year to supplant Brown as the starting left tackle? Now that, if he's not going to be the right tackle, now you sort of think, well, is Billy Turner going to be over there? Is Max Mitchell going to be over there? Who's going to wind up being right tackle for the New York Jets? And I don't know. I still feel in my gut that Dwayne Brown with Becton on the right-hand side is the best use of talent on the offensive line that you can put out there. Becton is, could be a better left tackle, but I don't know if we have a better right tackle on the roster right now. And I think Becton at right is better than the next player at right tackle, where Becton at left tackle is not that much of like a drop off, I think, from, Dwayne Brown or to Dwayne Brown. So I would love to see Mekhi Becton earn that left tackle spot, and I would love to see him lock it down. I want nothing more than for the Jets to pay this dude. I don't think they'll give him a long-term deal if he balls out this season. I would think they're probably aiming for the franchise tag at that point. But I would love to see him really show out, because the franchise tag is not that much more than his 5th-year option would have been. So I would have liked to, or I am looking forward to seeing Mekhi Becton really come out road grade. I was looking forward to him more so with AVT and Tittman. You kind of have that whole 3-person line on the right-hand side. Now him competing on the left-hand side, you're going to put him next to Laken Tomlinson. I don't care. I just want to see him on the field. I want to see him stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, the dude's a beast. So Mekhi Becton, you got me pulling for you. I'm looking forward to watching you play. The final story on my list right here, then we'll jump into some comment questions. The final story I want to talk about today, this is the PUP list. The New York Jets add 4 players to the PUP list. That's Breece Hall, Randall Cobb, CJ Uzomah, and Jarek Bernard Converse. That was the Jets draft pick this year. Obviously, these players are not allowed to practice and can be activated at any time. Hall move was expected, is what Samini's saying, and that kind of makes sense. A lot of fans were sort of talking about how Breece Hall might start the season on the PUP list anyway, or on IR, so that way they can bring him along slowly. We've heard rumors about Dalvin Cook. Could he be coming into the fold? If they're trying to bring Breece along a little bit slower, this would make a lot of sense for the New York Jets. I think having Cook in there allows you to not have the wear and tear on Breece's body right off the bat, kind of share that workload across the board here. I don't actually know what's wrong with Randall Cobb, Uzomah, and Converse. I'd have to look into that a little bit further, but being that it's just the PUP list and not like an IR situation, seems to be like it's not like an overly critical injury or anything like that. So 4 players on the PUP list. I'm not super concerned about it at this particular point in time, but something to keep an eye on for sure. Let's jump over to your comment questions. I see Jonathan Moore hopping in, says 2nd-round wide receiver picks are tough, especially for the New York Jets. I mean, talk about how we have performed in the 2nd round with wide receivers over the last however many years. I feel like I automatically think back to like Stephen Hill, but there's Devin Smith, I think was his name, from Ohio State. We have not had a good run of it. Elijah Moore gets traded away. Denzel Mims, not exactly good. We are not great when it comes to the whole second round wide receiver thing. Wimmy24 says, hey, Ryan, where can we see the leaked jersey? So you saw that just before. We don't know if it's 100% leaked, but I would imagine if they're doing a photo shoot at the Jets facility in what appears to be an old uniform, that's what it's going to be. The Jets are going to have throwback uniforms coming out, so be very, very excited for that. I think that I just want to know the helmet. Like, that's what I want. I'm like trying to see like a little glimpse of the side, and you can like sort of see a J, and I think it's going to be the old school helmets. I hope. Maybe they get rid of the black helmets for this year, and they say, screw it, we're going with the retro helmets. That's what I'm hoping to see. Pure Adrenaline Sports comes in. Says, Denzel Mims is the reason I found this... was the reason I found your channel. Loved Mims out of Baylor and was just looking for Jet fan reactions to him being drafted. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here. So I'm glad the Jets drafted Denzel Mims at that point, because I wouldn't have you here at Pure Adrenaline Sports. I'm glad to have you. But yeah, dude, I was so excited for that year. So excited. And then even like the little bit that we felt like he was misused under Gase, you're like, okay, this guy got 50 yards in like every single game. He just has to be highlighted. And then the Jets bring in, receiver. And you're like, oh man, we're just going to be stacked at receiver with Denzel Mims and all these other guys now. This makes sense. Just load the cupboard up for this young quarterback. And then just nothing ever came of it. And it's super, super frustrating to see all of it, because Denzel Mims had so much potential coming into the league. So hindsight being 2020, that draft class, not so good looking back on it. So definitely a little frustrating from a draft perspective. Let's see. Kyle says, it's on. Jets real preseason has started. Aaron in green. Zach is not a distraction. Brees, game one could happen. Clemens is a beast. Sherman getting props from everyone. Can't wait for the first Jets drive. One Jets drive. Hard Knocks another night. Then Jets on what I call off days, not Sunday. Got a box of candy for Mims. Good for him. Wish him well. So much going on. Yeah, look, Denzel Mims getting traded for like a 6th or 7th round pick is very... it sucks, but when you look at how the Jets were going to release him anyway, and there wasn't really a trade market for him, getting any kind of draft pick, even if it's just a late round pick, is a controllable contract for 4 more years. So who knows? Maybe in 2025, the Jets wind up, picking up like a kicker or something like that in the later rounds, and then you have a kicker for the next however many years. Like getting late round picks for guys, while the value for a second round wide receiver and that compensation is not good whatsoever. Comparing it to a player that you would have just given up anyway, really, really nice. Let's see what else we got in here. Scar City says, reality is he didn't have a role on the roster. Wide receiver 6 has to be a specials guy, and he doesn't. Yep, completely agree. Kelvin says, let's not be surprised if the news breaks, we sign Cook. Yeah, we save, I think the Jets are sitting around $22 million in salary cap space. I meant to check on that before I went live, and I did not do that. So, oops. Check over on Spot Track. But I think it's a little above $20 million. So you could see where we could potentially add some more players. Kevin hops in, says, past 2 second-round receivers had talent but never got used correctly. Elijah Moore, I don't know. I don't know if the issue was with Mike LaFleur. I'm going to keep telling myself that. I think a lot of it had to do with Zach Wilson, more so than Mike LaFleur. And then once everything kind of compounded and whatnot, then it was the Elijah Moore, like, hey, the relationship's broken. Let's send him away. I think he's going to ball out for the Browns this year. And Mims, I don't have as much faith in Mims, I think. For me, it just sucks. You waste high picks on players that you're expecting to have. These second-round picks are supposed to be cornerstones of your team, and you're talking Denzel Mims, Elijah Moore, not on this team anymore. Definitely frustrating. Dirty old Jets fan says, JD will be watching that waiver wire with a keen eye, you can bet. Maybe he knows something we don't, and that's the reason money hasn't been used for Dalvin Cook. There's a lot of running backs that I would be okay with. They don't all have to be Dalvin Cook. Like if Dalvin Cook is reportedly looking for $8 million, that's too much money for a running back that is going to be running back 2. Breece Hall is the starting back on this team. Now, if he wants to accept $4-5 million, I'm good with that. Otherwise, I'm cool with waiting and looking for maybe a Kareem Hunt, maybe an Ezekiel Elliott. Like one of those guys is kind of like a 1B, 1C. I'm looking for someone that we could just absolutely demolish the goal line with. I think having, someone that could take some of that workload off. Plus, there's some statistics where you're like, oh, okay, is this guy cooked? Like, is he trending down? It's running backs. The graph for running backs after year 6 is so scary because they are only going to trend down at that point. It's such a young man's game. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in Cook. I do like him a lot. I just don't know. David D says, Super Chat's crooked. Yeah, I moved it. I made him crooked. Style. I wanted to see how it looked. Let's see. Kicker punter for second round next year. Oh, I mean, at least, is Nugent still in the league? I don't know if Nugent's still in the league. Is that how you grade second round picks, if they're still like around this long after? KD says having a 6th round pick in the back helps us make trades like we did last season for James Robinson. Yeah, having those kind of shifting picks where guys are going to get cut and you can at least pick up their contract if it's not too bad. I guess that's not terrible. Plus, when you start swinging picks during draft day, like those picks become more valuable because teams want a few more cracks at lottery tickets. Like if you're sitting in a 5th or 6th round pick and now you want to slide up 1 round, that's ammo for you. I like it. Prime Evil says, speaking of kickers, have you heard anything about Matt Ariaza? I have not. I have not heard anything about him since the initial report that, the Jets were interested or working him out. I'd be fine with it. I think they paid a lot of money for Morstead, or not a lot of money, but guaranteed money that it doesn't seem like he's going to be displaced. I just want someone who's going to be consistent. So if that's Ariaza, great. If it's Morstead, great. Not overly concerned. Tyrone says, at least the New York Jets get something back from the Detroit Lions, Ryan. Yeah, that's exactly it. If you're going to cut Denzel Mims anyway, just get something for him. Matt comes in. Matt says, what are your realistic expectations for win-loss record? For me, playoffs or bust for me at the very least. I think you have to at least make it to that dance or you can't add Aaron Rodgers and not make the playoffs, first and foremost. That being said, I believe our over-under is 9.5 wins. I think that's on the lower side. I would bet the over on that. I think the Jets realistically are going to wind up somewhere in the 11 or 12 win range. I think you might see some. Now, that being said, I do think they can hang with any team that's on their schedule. Our defense is so good that I trust our defense to stop any other team's offense. It's just a matter of how quickly does our offense gel together after adding in a new quarterback, having some new wide receivers in the mix, learning that the whole offense is learning a new offense with Nathaniel Hackett here, aside from Rodgers, which obviously is the important part. But there's going to be a lot of moving pieces. So I would say 12 wins is probably where I would put the Jets. 12 and 5 overall. That's what I want to see. Crossfire, what's up, dude? Crossfire says, it's our time, boys and girls. Let's go. Yeah, drop a JETS. Oh, that's not the right one. That's an air horn. There we go. JETS. Getting me excited. Pure Adrenaline saying over the cap is showing a little over 25 million. So I saw a tweet before that Spot Track had us somewhere around 21 or 22 after the Tittman and McDonald signing. So I'm not sure if over the cap has those two calculated in there. They may, because it's as easy as like saying they signed because it's already a slotted position. Sean says Elijah Moore was good or is good. Denzel Mims just never was. Yeah, Elijah Moore's the better receiver of the two for sure. Elijah Moore could have gone in the first round. I thought Mims could have been a first round receiver, clearly based on where he went and how he slid down draft boards. That was not the case. I can't get that image of him on draft night out of my head where he just did not seem like very enthusiastic that he was taken by the Jets. And I feel like the Jets, not necessarily ownership, but GMs, Douglas and Saleh both want players that want to be here and like eat, breathe, drink football. And I don't know if Denzel Mims comes off like that. So I just think it was not necessarily a fit personality-wise, and it, best to just move on. Hi, Lost Boy says, no room for disgruntled players. I hope Mims balls out since my brother is a Lions fan. I have no hate towards the Lions. I would like to see Mims do well. It would make me feel good from like a scouting perspective that I was really excited about Mims and to see him at least perform well, even if it's not with us. Steven says, props on streaming so late. Too bad I liked Mims, but he will be used on the Lions, and I'm happy for him. I decided to jump on late. I had work all day today, so I wasn't able to do all the different stories throughout. So what I think I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and clip these in each individual story that I had in here. And then I'll make little versions so that way people that are not interested in watching a live stream can at least consume this after the fact. Look at Crossfire go. Hit that like button. It's football season. That's right. Hit the like button if you're enjoying this. Greg says, why do people disrespect Michael Carter so much? Love him as number 2. We were talking about this on the Talking Jets panel the other night, and I very much, it was yesterday. I very much like Michael Carter. I picked him to be my running back too. Not that I wouldn't like Dalvin Cook, but I was so happy with Michael Carter after his rookie year that I was not looking to draft a running back at all until like the middle rounds of the draft, maybe round 3 at the high end, but 4 or 5, somewhere in there. And the Jets took Breece Hall, and was absolutely the right decision. The guy's an absolutely home run threat. But I like Michael Carter. I'm more on the side of last year was the offensive line was jacked up. Michael Carter was banged up. I think there was a little bit of not using him correctly from Mike LaFleur. So I would say I'm excited for Michael Carter. I think there's hopefully he can be number 2 and kind of reclaim that, what do you have? Forced broken tackles, I think is what it was. Or forced missed tackles. Scar City says, Mims trade saves us $1.35 million in salary cap. I love it. Love it. Basically what we're paying McGovern this year. Tyler, just joining. What's your favorite part of day one? Favorite part of day one. It's so exciting because there was so much stuff, but I think it was really cool to see like those throwbacks in that leaked video. I don't know if that's my favorite part. It's going to be my favorite part once I know what the side of the helmet is. If it's like the current iteration of helmet, I'm going to be like a little like, I really want to see this Jets logo, like the swoosh. That would be really cool. I think my favorite part is Michael Clemens. Him walking in with the bat wrapped in barbed wire. He is a walking Chuck Norris joke. And I think NFL fans from around the league are going to fall in love with this guy. He is just such an interesting personality to have, and he's just a beast. Him just like throwing dudes around, like he's just the embodiment of what you want the first guy off the bus to look like. You want to send him out for the coin flip every single time. Just let him be an imposing presence on the 50-yard line. So I would say my favorite part was the Clemens bat thing. Kelvin says, 80s look, but in the green is tough. Possible. I don't know. I think it's going to be the white jersey if they're going to do a throwback. I don't think they're going to do the green jersey in a throwback. I like the white version a lot. I like the logo a lot. Keith says, what rookie are you most excited to see on Hard Knocks? All of them. I really, that's the honest truth. I'm so excited to see all these different guys here. I think my favorite person that I'm looking to see, I want to see Tippmann like be the guy. Like, at least with McDonald, I'm really looking forward to watching how he plays and how he attacks tackles on the other side of him. But we have so many good edge rushers where, like, offensive line-wise, we kind of need to start hitting on those positions. So for me, it's the offensive line side of things. But Izzy, seeing how he performs, will make me feel a lot more comfortable about, bringing Brees back a little bit slower. So I'm between Izzy and Tippmann, I think, for my two that I'm most interested to see right now. Kelvin says, can you change my jet icon back to green? I can't. Sorry. You become a member for too long. You get bumped up to like the next jet. Yeah, I don't know why it was green. I guess, is it green to start? I don't remember. I'd have to look at that. Mike says, better than Mims getting picked up by the Pats. Yeah, no, just send him away. Over to the NFC. That's why they were so afraid. They sent him to the NFC because they thought he was going to be all Randy Moss on us. Jay says, any news with their alternate uniforms? I have not seen anything official from the Jets. There was only the leaked video from the Jet intern or NFL Films intern or whoever that intern was that slipped the photo and then deleted it real quick and then was like, oh no, the internet, it's forever. Don't put anything out there. So nothing new that I've seen. Steven said, did anyone notice how Sauce wasn't around today? Yeah, what are you implying? I don't think it's anything bad. I didn't notice, to be honest. Now I got to look at the Jets training camp gallery. Was he in there? Was he in any of the pictures? I got to scroll up. Hold on. Give me a sec. Looking at all of them. Got to do my due diligence. I don't think I saw a picture of Sauce today, if I'm not mistaken. No, I don't think he did. I didn't see him, at least. Maybe he's hiding. See, you know what it actually was? He was there today. He was just dressed in barbed wire, and Michael Clemens was carrying him around. That's what it was. Oh, Sauce. I have no concerns with Sauce. Nothing at all. Dave says, Michael Carter reminds me of Leon. A little bit. Greg says, can Becton be anything for us? X Factor. Yeah, I think he can. Look, him being the best version of himself helps the New York Jets, helps the offensive line. Him hitting is going to make all of us feel a lot better about this line. Because after him, you got guys that are not necessarily unproven, but like ones that you may not want to see as starters. And given Becton's health the last few years, you're kind of anticipating that one of those, maybe not top tier options may wind up starting. And that's, hopefully he can stay healthy. That's what I'm asking. Scott says, just got here, but it makes sense for the Lions to get Mims. They have players going to be suspended for gambling. Yeah, in particular, Jameson Williams. Not that I'm saying Jameson Williams is replaced by Denzel Mims, but, top drafted wide receiver, change of scenery, maybe something goes right over there. Tyler says, going to MetLife this weekend for the Manchester United game, bring in vibes. Ooh, very cool. I wonder if some of my coworkers are going to that. They're Manchester fans. Zachary says, Mims is like Vernon Gholston because him and Mims didn't have touchdowns or sacks. I guess that's one way to look at that. Vernon Gholston sucked. That was so bad. He was so jacked. And just like because of where the Jets picked him and the contracts at the time, I would take Denzel Mims in a trade down and just throw out the pick than have Vernon Gholston on his contract on the team at all. Those old contracts were not fun in the first round. Kelvin asks, if I purchase the tailgate package, do I still get pre-field access? You do not, unfortunately. The tailgate's literally just free to come out and hang out with us. The full ticket experience. You have to get a game ticket with us in order to get that pre-game field experience. For those of you that don't know, Kelvin's talking about the Jets-Chargers Monday Night Football group buy that we're doing. Myself, O'Leary, and Green Bean. So if you want to check that out, talkingjets.com. Down below. I think I put it in the description there. Wimmy comes in and says, any news on Quan Alexander? Maybe with cap savings from Mims, it's worth it now. I would love to see Quan back. I really would. But I think it sounds like they're going to give Sherwood a shot, and saving whatever money you're going to pay Quan if he's not getting signed elsewhere isn't necessarily a bad move. But I think he's probably just going to wait out in camp a little bit, and I hope he eventually comes back in. I want to see Quan here. Robert says, can't wait for week 1, driving from North Carolina. Let's go. I can't wait for week 1. I'm so excited. I hope we kick the doors down on the Bills. I want them to just cry. That's what I want. Mitt Flair, more like Denzel Mimsatron, am I right? Go for it. Come on, Mims. Ball out over there. It's okay. Crossfire says, Amos is number 0. Yeah, I saw that. That was really cool. I wasn't sure who it was at first. I haven't seen like Adrian Amos without like a helmet on ever. And I saw him. I was like, I should know who you are. Off the top of my head. I had to do a little search, and I was like, that's what Amos looks like. Greg, you're a good dude. He says, you are the best Jets coverage. Thanks for your efforts. Much appreciated. I enjoy doing this stuff. Wish I had a little bit more time to do it. I should have more time coming up here in the next few weeks. Dave asks, if Elijah balls out, would that help our comp pick formula? No, because he was traded, so it won't matter. Comp picks only help if it's a free agent walking from the team. Mitt Flair's asking, what did the Jets get in return for Denzel Mims? It was a sixth round pick. That could be 6th or 7th round pick in 2025. Seems like there's some sort of condition on there. Maybe it's just like being on the roster. FF, what do I think of Hard Knocks? I'm pumped for it. I don't care. Fans, players, whatever. If you're upset that there's going to be attention on the New York Jets, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have traded for Aaron Rodgers. Like, we got Aaron Rodgers. There was going to be 100 camera lenses on this team, regardless of whether you had Hard Knocks or not. And the Jets kind of flipping the bird to Hard Knocks and NFL Films by like getting Quinnen Williams signed beforehand. I mean, I guess they could cover some of the Denzel Mims trade stuff and whatnot, because I'm sure they're starting to film right now. But I have no issues with Hard Knocks. The more Jet stuff that I can consume, the better. I'm all about it. Zachary Berner says, who will be Clemens' first victim this season? My answer is everyone. Yeah, I think that's valid. Is it fair to like that he might like beat up the ref at the coin flip? Could that happen? Could he be the first victim? They'd be like, hey, Clemens, call it in the air. Heads. It's tails. No, it's not. You're right. Jets win the toss. They get the ball. That's how it's going to be. That's how the first coin flip's going to go. Oh, sorry, Michael. We were wrong. You were right. Matt says, I'm so excited to see Wilson this year. It was impressive that he held 1,200 yards last year with absolutely no quarterback play. Now with Aaron Rodgers, he's going to have 2,000 yards this season. I think he's going to be around 1,500, all said and done. I think the Jets are still going to want to run the ball, and if we're up later in games, you might not see some of the, I don't want to say garbage time stats. Like when the Jets suck, or when teams suck in general, you have a lot more cushion and you get a lot of extra bonus yards. So that might have been a little bit of what we were seeing at points during last year. But then you think about like the 6-week stretch of Zach not getting the ball to Garrett Wilson at all, and you're thinking like, oh shit, this guy literally could have like 2,000 yards. Like, it's going to be scary impressive. I think 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns is entirely possible for Garrett Wilson in year 2. Let's see. Mario says, hey, brother, can't wait for the season to start. JETS, baby, let's go. I agree. Can't wait. Jonathan says, what do you think about our tight end crew? I like him. I like Uzama. I like Conklin as our top 2. I'm hoping Rucker gets a little more playing time this year. I'd like to see that. And then as far as Kuntz, it's like, is he going to make the team? Is he going to be a practice squad guy? There's a lot of potential there, but there's a reason he's a 7th round pick. So excited. Yeboah, special teams guy. I think he has the nod ahead of Kuntz as far as roster slots are concerned. So I like it. I'm excited for it. I think they're all good players, good blockers. They're all team players, which is really cool. Mike asking, are you going to Canton August 5th? I'm not, unfortunately. I would have loved to go, but I actually have baby number 2 coming August 9th. Now, it was supposed to be in September. Now we're going little C-section action. Everything should be good, but not able to make the trip out to Canton this year. Let's see. Andrew Yale says, Ryan, who is our backup quarterback? It's going to be Zach Wilson. They're not going to sign anyone. Tim Boyle will be the emergency guy. They're going to bank on Aaron Rodgers playing every game this season like he has the last few years. This season, you're hoping Zach gets the redshirt year, and if you have to use someone at some point during the season, you're going to expect, like, if Rodgers misses time, it's a game or two. If Rodgers misses any sort of significant time, it won't matter who the backup is. You're not going very far. So they're going to hope that Zach Wilson can show something during the season if they have to use him. They're going to rely on the running game. They're going to rely on the short passes, things of that nature. Maybe Zach kind of turns the corner in this new offense. Maybe it just clicks him sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? At the very least, I want to see him fluff his trade value throughout preseason, and then hopefully we just don't see him the rest of the year. I think that's what the Jets are going to do, push all the chips in on Rodgers. Mary says, do you think Zach sitting behind his idol will help him develop more? I think it helps from like a positivity standpoint. Like, he's clearly comfortable with Rodgers. I think the Zach dynamic is the most interesting part of Hard Knocks for me, because I want to see how he interacts with his teammates and how the relationship between him and Rodgers starts to form and grow throughout this offseason. I don't know if it's ultimately going to save Zach's career on the New York Jets. I think he's probably taken his last snap as like the full starter here. But I like that Zach's sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. And we don't have to make a decision on Zach till after this year. So hopefully he balls out. Nick H says, I hope we get our logo in the middle of the field like the Giants do now. I hope we do too. If the Jets have the NFL logo in the middle of the field and not the Jets logo, but the Giants are doing the Giants logo, I'm going to be disappointed. It's going to be a pretty lame start to get out there on the first day of MetLife Stadium's use this year. I don't know if the Giants have a home game first, but the Jets are playing Monday Night Football. I want to see the Jet logo on there on primetime TV when we thump the Bills. All right, boys and girls, it was a lot of fun talking to you. It's now almost 11 o'clock, so I'm going to hop off here. I'll clip all these shorter parts. We went over a whole bunch of topics earlier today. Rodgers, Clemens, Mims, throwback jerseys, Becton to left tackle, and then the pup list. All my thoughts, you'll see those kind of interdispersed. If you want to watch it, you can click back in the video. If you want to get into the ticket group buy, like I said, down below, talkingjets.com. Got limited amount of tickets for those. So if you want to go to Jets Chargers, the following day, that Tuesday is election day. So most kids have off during that time. So if you're looking to go to a game Monday night with the day off, possibly following that, not too shabby. Boys and girls, make sure you hit that like button on the way out of here. That's going to be it for me. Thank you for tuning in. This is Jets Talk signing off. Jets.